Hi there, this is Ruben from Dutch Round 1. Thanks again for coming by, thanks for watching another episode. As always, I appreciate your time and I appreciate your support. Today we have a grammar lesson, so we'll take a look at the word order in Dutch. But before we do that, if you like this content, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more content, and let me know in the comments if this was useful for you or not. Without much further ado, let's go straight for our grammar lesson. Alright, so how are we going to do this? Well, I've got 7 examples for you, so 7 different sentences in Dutch, and we'll analyze them. Alright, we'll analyze what is the subject, what is the verb, why is the verb here, why is the verb at the end of the sentence, and in order for you to get a better understanding of the Dutch sentence structure. So we'll start with example 1. Well, basically example 1 is ik koop een fiets. I buy a bicycle. Right, so ik, that would be our subject, it's in front. Then we have koop, okay, just like in English, I buy, ik koop, so our verb is following our subject from the verb kopen, to buy. And then een fiets as your object, okay. How can I find the object of a sentence? Well, basically you use the verb and you ask what. You say, what do I buy? Wat koop ik? And the answer is een fiets, a bicycle, and that is your object. Alright, straightforward sentence, the easiest sentence in the Dutch language. Subject, verb, object. Ik koop een fiets. Alright, we'll go to the second one. The second one is something a lot of people don't really like in the Dutch language, and it's inversion. Alright, I made a video, a very detailed video about inversion also, so if you're interested in that, click on the following link and you'll be guided to the inversion video. Today I will touch kind of shortly upon it, but I think it will be clear for you after this short explanation. So as you can see, the sentence is gisteren kocht ik een fiets. Yesterday I bought a bicycle, right? Gisteren, that is an adverb, more specifically an adverb of time. Kocht, that is our verb, right? And then we have ik, that is our subject, and then een fiets, that would be our object. Alright, so as we've seen in the first sentence, normally our subject is first, then there's our verb, ik koop, and then our object, een fiets. Now, why do we put our verb in front of our subject? Because our verb is kocht, and you'll see it in front of our subject, which is ik. Well, that is due to the adverb of time, gisteren. Now, basically in Dutch, in a normal sentence, a single sentence, not a compound sentence, let's just talk about single sentences right now. If you start your sentence with anything else, for 99.9% of the cases, so almost always, then your subject, you will do inversion. And what is inversion? Well, basically putting your verb in front of your subject, putting your finite verb, so the verb which adapts itself to your subject, you will put it in front of your subject, right? So gisteren is our adverb of time, kocht, that is our verb, ik is our subject, and een fiets is our object. Alright, so be careful of that. I'll repeat it in Dutch, single sentence. If you start your sentence with anything else for 99.9% of the time, then your subject, adverbs of time, adverbs of place, adverbs of manner, then you will do inversion. And what is inversion? Well, basically it's putting your finite verb, so the verb that adapts itself to your subject, in front of your subject. Alright, we'll take a look at example 3. Now, example 3, before we go to example 3, if you want to buy me a coffee to keep me fresh and keep me making those videos for you, go to the description box, click on the link, and I will greatly appreciate it. Now, example 3 is basically more than one verb, right? More than one verb. We'll take a look at our example. Our example is ik wil een fiets kopen, right? So, ik is our subject, wil, that is a verb, een fiets is our object, and kopen is also a verb, right? In English you would say, I want to buy a bicycle, right? Everything is together. However, in Dutch, when we have more than one verb in a sentence, something changes, and I'll explain you why. So, ik, subject in the beginning, all good. Then, wel, in this case, I want is an auxiliary verb. It's also a model verb, but let's, for the sake of the conversation, let's call it an auxiliary verb. So it basically guides your infinitive. kopen is our infinitive. What do I mean with guiding your infinitive? For instance, if you say, ik wil een fiets kopen, then you say, I want to buy a bicycle. But if you say, ik zal een fiets kopen, then you say, I will or I shall buy a bicycle. So it guides the meaning of the sentence, and it guides also the meaning of your infinitive. Right? So what happens with that infinitive? We put it at the end of our sentence. We do not put it after our auxiliary verb. We will never say, ik wil kopen een fiets. That would be correct in English, that would be correct in many other languages. However, in Dutch, that second verb is going all the way to the end. So remember that one if you have more than one verb in your sentence. So we'll take a look at the perfectum. Example 4, the past. But before we do that, if you want to become a member of this channel, if you're interested in tailor-made Dutch lessons, tailor-made answers to your questions concerning the topics you are struggling with in Dutch, tailor-made listening and reading exercises, then maybe you want to check out the membership page. Anyway, we continue with the perfectum. The perfectum is the past. So let's take a look at our example sentence. Ik heb een fiets gekocht. I have bought a bicycle. However, what I want to do is I want to translate it in bad English. I have a bicycle bought. So as you can see, we split them up again in Dutch. Our auxiliary verb is next to our subject, and our verb, our past participle in this case, is all the way to the end. So ik, our subject, in the beginning, all is good in the hood, no problems. Heb is our auxiliary verb, and then een fiets is our object. What have I bought? A bicycle, okay, object, pretty easy. And then gekocht is our past participle, which you will put at the end of the sentence. So again, in English, French, Spanish, and many other languages, the verbal group is together. In Dutch, we split them up, and that past participle is going all the way to the end. We take a look at example number 5, and that's basically the position of the adverbs, right? In English, most of the time you'll hear about manner, place, time. Well, in Dutch it's time, manner, place, right? Time seems to be more important in Dutch grammar, all right? So we take a look at the example. Ik fiets vandaag snel naar huis. Vandaag is our adverb of time, so it goes in front just after our verb. Then snel is our manner, in which way are we doing it, slowly or fast? Well, in this case it's fast. And then naar huis would be our indication, or grammatically correct, or adverbial clause of place, which is going all the way to the end. Alright, this is correct for most of the cases. If you remember this rule, you'll be good to go, you won't make any mistakes. However, sometimes we will change it if we want to stress vandaag, if we want to stress snel, or if we want to stress naar huis. So it depends. If you want to stress the manner, the place, then sometimes, not in many occasions, you can also put it in front. In this case, it wouldn't work, but know that sometimes the Dutch or Belgian people will play a little bit with this. But if you want to be sure, just remember time, manner, place, and you'll be correct all the time. We go to example number 6, and then we take a look at compound sentences. We've been looking at single sentences right now. Now we're going to look at compound sentences. What is the difference? Well, a single sentence has only one subject and one finite verb. A compound sentence can have 2 or 3 or 4. So it's basically putting more and more sentences together, hence the word compound. We'll start off with 2 main clauses. What is a main clause? It's a sentence which can be independent and grammatically correct. As ik koop een fiets, point, correct. Ik rij of ik rijd naar huis, also correct. What's the difference between rij and rijdt? Well, rijdt is the official one, but in Belgium, the Netherlands, you will hear also ik rij quite a bit. Right? So these 2 sentences, they can stand on their own. Right? Now I want to take a look at the conjunctions. What is a conjunction? Well, it's a word we need to put 2 sentences together, right? Ik koop een fiets en ik rijd naar huis. I buy a bicycle and I drive home. So our conjunction is connecting those 2 sentences. Now I want you to learn these ones by heart. That's at least what I advise my students, because there's 4 of them, and with these ones it's just like in English. It doesn't change. En, want, maar en of. Ik koop een fiets en ik rijd naar huis. Ik koop, subject, finite verb, beginning. En just after our conjunction, ik rij of ik rijd, subject, verb. Nothing changes, just like in English. With these four, 99.9% of the cases, you'll always be correct. Alright, we go to example number 7, and that's the difficult one. That's the one where people struggle with because it's completely different than many other languages. You'll find it also in German, but in French, Spanish, English, and so on, Italian, you will not find it. That is when we have a subordinate clause or subordinate clauses. Now, what is a subordinate clause? We've seen, or we know already, what is a main clause. It's basically a sentence that can stand on its own. Ik koop een fiets. Point. I buy a bicycle. 100% correct. Now, our connecting word or conjunction is omdat, because, right? We leave that one be for the time being. And then we have ik naar huis wil rijden. Now, if you're studying Dutch for a while already, ik naar huis wil rijden as a single sentence does not make sense at all. So why do we write it this way? Well, it's because of our conjunction or connecting word, which is omdat. It's not en, it's not of, it's not want, it's not maar, it's omdat, right? So it's a subordinate conjunction, subordinate connecting word. And if we have that, then basically something completely changes. Our subject, as you can see, we still write it after the conjunction, after omdat. However, our verb or our verbal group is going all the way to the end. As you can see, wil rijden. Omdat ik naar huis wil rijden. Right? Now, why do we write wil in front of rijden? Well, wil is our auxiliary verb, so it guides our infinitive. Want to drive. Simple as that. Alright, so if you have a compound sentence and your connecting word is not en, of, want, and maar, alarm bells have to go off, and you need to think, alright, I need to put my verb or my verbal group all the way to the end. It's a tricky one. If you want to watch a video about compound sentences, I made one. Click on the following link, and this one is quite detailed. So if you want more explanation on that, check that video, and I'm sure it will help you out. Alright, so basically these were the 7 examples regarding our word order in Dutch. I hope it helped you out. I hope it clarified things. And then also remember to give it a like if you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you want more. Let me know in the comments if you have questions, if this was useful for you or not. And I want to wish you a great rest of the day, and stay tuned for another episode of Dutch Round 1. Ciao.